The secret most cat owners never notice. Your cat walks towards you in complete silence. No desperate meowing, no demand for food, no chaotic excitement. Just slow steps, focused eyes, and then suddenly, it presses its head against your hand, your arm, your face, or your leg, before quietly walking away as if nothing important happened. Most people smile at this moment and think it is simply affection. But feline behavior specialists explain that this small gesture carries one of the deepest emotional meanings a cat can express toward a human being. Cats do not interact physically the way dogs do. They are cautious animals, highly observant, emotionally selective, and deeply connected to instinct. Researchers who study feline communication discovered that cats rarely waste physical contact. Almost every movement has purpose. Every silent interaction reveals emotional information. And when a cat deliberately rubs its head against you, something invisible is happening that most owners never notice. The head is one of the most sensitive and protected parts of a cat's body, around the cheeks, forehead, and chin. Cats have scent glands that release chemical signals connected to familiarity, trust, comfort, and social bonding. Experts in animal behavior explain that cats use scent almost like humans use emotional language. While people rely on words to create connection, cats rely on smell, touch, routine, and silent gestures. So, when your cat rubs its head against you, it may actually be doing far more than asking for attention. Your cat may be trying to mix its scent with yours. And in the feline world, that changes everything. Studies on cat social behavior observed that cats create emotional maps using scent. They identify safe places, trusted animals, familiar routines, and emotionally important beings through smell association. This means your cat may see your scent as part of its emotional territory. Not territory in the aggressive sense humans imagine, but in the emotional sense of safety, belonging, and connection. That is why some cats do this constantly with one specific person, while completely ignoring everyone else in the house. Cats do not build emotional trust equally. They choose carefully. Some cats observe humans for months before showing behaviors connected to emotional vulnerability. And this is where the gesture becomes much deeper than most people realize. Because your cat is not simply touching you, it is lowering its guard around you. Researchers noticed that cats often perform this behavior during emotionally calm moments. Before sleeping, after reuniting with their owner, during quiet nights, when the environment feels peaceful and predictable, some cats even approach silently, stare for a few seconds, and only then press their heads against the person they trust, as if they are emotionally checking the situation before allowing themselves to connect. But there is another side to this behavior that almost nobody talks about. Some cats suddenly stop doing it. And according to specialists in feline stress and behavior, that silence can sometimes reveal emotional discomfort long before humans recognize the signs. By the end of this video, you will understand why cats reserve this gesture for certain people, what they may truly feel during these moments, why some cats become emotionally attached through this behavior, and the hidden mistake humans make that can quietly push a cat away without even realizing it. Because when a cat rubs its head against you, it may not simply mean affection. It may mean you became part of its safe world. Your cat is claiming you in a way humans don't understand. When your cat rubs its head against you, most people immediately assume it is simply looking for affection. But feline behavior experts explain that this gesture carries an emotional meaning that goes far beyond what humans usually perceive. In the feline world, scent is not just smell. Scent is identity, memory, trust, emotional recognition. And the moment your cat presses its face against you, something invisible is being created between both of you. Researchers who study feline social behavior observed that cats rely on scent to understand almost everything around them. They recognize safe places through smell. They identify familiar beings through smell. They even reduce anxiety by surrounding themselves with scents connected to emotional stability. This is why cats constantly rub their cheeks on furniture, corners, doors, blankets, and objects inside the house. But when they choose to do this to a human being, the meaning becomes far more personal. Around your cat's forehead, cheeks, and chin are scent glands that release chemical signals associated with familiarity and social connection. Specialists in animal behavior explain that cats leave these invisible scent traces on things they emotionally accept as part of their world. Not every person receives this treatment. Some cats completely ignore certain humans for years while becoming deeply attached to one specific person in the house. And this is where many owners fail to understand what is truly happening. Your cat may actually be trying to create a shared emotional scent with you. In the feline mind, this creates something similar to belonging. Cats are naturally cautious animals. Unlike highly social pack animals, they do not immediately trust physical closeness. Trust for a cat is built slowly, silently, and through repeated emotional safety. Researchers observed that when cats repeatedly rub their heads against the same person, they are often reinforcing familiarity and emotional security through scent exchange. In simple terms, your cat feels calmer when you smell emotionally familiar to them. This also explains why many cats immediately rub against their owners after they come home from outside. Humans return carrying unfamiliar smells from streets, cars, buildings, other animals, and strangers. And almost instinctively, the cat approaches and rubs its face against the person again. Experts believe this may be the cat's way of re-establishing emotional familiarity after temporary separation. But there is another detail most people never notice. Cats often combine head rubbing with slow blinking, relaxed whiskers, soft body posture, and gentle tail movements. Specialists explain that these signals usually appear when the cat feels emotionally safe enough to lower defensive alertness. In other words, this behavior is not random affection. It is emotional acceptance expressed in the most natural language cats know. And strangely, many cats only perform this behavior during very specific emotional moments. Quiet nights, calm mornings, peaceful routines, moments when the environment feels stable and safe. Researchers noticed that cats become far more physically affectionate when stress levels around them decrease, which means your emotional energy, your routine, and even the atmosphere inside your home may influence how often your cat chooses to connect this way. Your cat is not simply touching you. It may be silently saying that you belong inside its circle of safety. And once you understand that, the next behavior becomes even more emotional. Because many cats only rub their heads against humans after they feel something even deeper than familiarity. The moment your cat feels emotionally safe, there is a reason why some cats never rub their heads against strangers, no matter how friendly those strangers try to be. A cat can accept food from someone, it can stay in the same room, it can even allow brief touch. But pressing its face and forehead against a human is something entirely different. Specialists in feline behavior explain that this gesture often appears only after a cat reaches a specific emotional state that many people never notice. Emotional safety. Cats are survival-oriented animals. Researchers who study feline psychology observed that cats constantly evaluate risk, even inside their own homes. Every sound, movement, smell, and interaction passes through an invisible filter of caution. This is why nervous or insecure cats tend to stay physically alert most of the time. Their muscles remain tense. Their eyes scan constantly. Their reactions stay quick and defensive. But when a cat begins lowering those defenses around someone, subtle behavioral changes start to appear. The body softens. The movements slow down. The eyes narrow gently, and eventually, the cat approaches in complete silence before pressing its head against the person it trusts. Experts explain that the face and head are highly sensitive areas for cats. These regions contain not only scent glands but also important sensory structures that help cats interpret the world around them. In nature, protecting the head is instinctive. This is why emotionally guarded cats rarely initiate head contact. They avoid exposing vulnerable areas unless they feel secure in the environment and emotionally comfortable with the individual nearby. This is also why many cats seem completely different depending on who enters the room. A cat may hide from one person but immediately approach another. It may reject physical touch from guests while calmly rubbing its face against its owner minutes later. Researchers observed that cats build emotional trust through predictability, routine, and repeated experiences of safety. The cat slowly learns which humans create calm and which humans create tension. And most people never realize how sensitive cats are to emotional atmosphere. Studies involving feline stress behavior showed that cats can react strongly to human tone of voice, body posture, emotional tension, and sudden environmental changes. Some specialists even explain that cats often avoid physical connection during moments of stress inside the home, becoming more affectionate only after calm returns to the environment. This explains why many cats choose very quiet moments to initiate these gestures: late at night, early in the morning, moments when the house feels peaceful, moments when your breathing slows down, moments when nothing threatening seems to exist around them. And before the head rub happens, cats often display tiny signals that reveal emotional trust building in real time. Slow blinking, relaxed ears, gentle tail movement, a slow approach without hesitation. Researchers explained that these behaviors are signs that the cat's nervous system is no longer operating in defensive mode. Your cat is not simply approaching your body, it is approaching emotional safety. And this is where the connection becomes deeper than most humans imagine. Because once a cat associates someone with calm, security, and emotional stability, that person can quietly become part of the cat's safe emotional routine. Not through force, not through training, but through trust built silently over time. And, strangely, many cats perform this behavior most intensely during moments when they feel they might temporarily lose access to that emotional safety, especially before sleep, before separation, or before you leave the house. Why some cats do it right before you leave or sleep. Have you ever noticed that your cat suddenly becomes more affectionate during very specific moments of the day? Right before you leave the house? Right before bed? Right after you return home exhausted? Many people think this is coincidence, but researchers who study feline routine behavior observed that cats create emotional patterns around the people they trust most. And sometimes, the small head rub your cat gives you during these moments may be part of something much deeper than affection. Cats are extremely connected to routine. Specialists in animal behavior explain that predictable patterns create emotional stability for them. They notice the sounds that happen before you leave, the way you walk through the house, the objects you touch, the changes in your voice, even your pace. Long before humans realize it, cats already know when separation is about to happen. And strangely, this is often when many cats decide to approach quietly and rub their heads against their owners. Researchers observed that cats frequently increase social bonding behaviors during moments connected to transition, before sleeping, before separation. After reunion, these moments seem emotionally important to cats because they involve temporary changes in access to safety, familiarity, and emotional connection. In simple terms, your cat may be reinforcing the bond before you disappear for a while. That is why some cats suddenly appear at the bedroom door every night. Others jump onto the bed moments before their owner falls asleep. Some walk silently around the person before finally pressing their face against them one last time before settling nearby. Experts explain that sleeping is one of the most vulnerable states for animals in nature. And when a cat chooses to initiate contact during these moments, it often reflects deep environmental trust. Your cat may not simply want attention before bed, it may want reassurance that its safe world is still there. Researchers also noticed something fascinating about reunion moments. Many cats pretend to ignore their owners when they first walk through the door, only to approach minutes later and begin rubbing against their legs, hands, or face. Specialists explain that cats often need a brief moment to process the sudden environmental change before reconnecting emotionally. And once they do, the head rubbing begins again. Some cats even become more physically affectionate after emotionally stressful days inside the home. Loud visitors, tension between people, environmental changes, unfamiliar sounds. Experts observed that after stress decreases, many cats actively seek reconnection behaviors with trusted humans to restore emotional stability. This may explain why your cat sometimes approaches you differently when you are emotionally drained. Cats are highly observant creatures. Studies involving feline-human interaction suggest that cats can detect subtle shifts in human emotional state through tone of voice, body tension, facial expression, movement patterns, and even smell changes connected to stress hormones. While they may not understand human problems the way humans do, Specialists believe cats often recognize emotional energy changes inside their environment. And during quiet moments, many cats seem to respond to that emotional atmosphere by seeking physical closeness. Not loudly, not dramatically, but silently. A slow walk toward you, a pause beside your body, and then the gentle pressure of their forehead against your skin. Almost as if they are checking whether the emotional bond between both of you is still there. And once you understand this, another strange behavior suddenly starts making sense. Because some cats do not simply rub their heads gently against people they trust, some cats press against them with surprising intensity. When a cat presses its head hard against you, some cats do not simply rub their heads gently against their owners, they press against them with surprising force, almost as if they are trying to bury their face into the person they trust. Many owners laugh at this behavior because it feels strange, intense, and sometimes even emotional in a way that is difficult to explain. But feline behavior specialists observed that the intensity behind these gestures often reveals something important happening inside the cat's emotional state. Not all head rubbing is the same. A quick touch usually carries one meaning. A slow facial rub carries another. But when a cat leans its entire weight into you, holds the contact longer, or repeatedly pushes its forehead hard against your body, experts explain that the emotional significance often becomes much deeper. Researchers who study feline bonding behavior noticed that cats displaying strong attachment to specific humans frequently intensify physical contact during emotionally important moments. This may happen after separation, during stressful situations, or when the cat feels especially relaxed and emotionally connected. In simple terms, the stronger the pressure, the stronger the emotional need behind the gesture may be. Some cats do this after their owners return home late. Others do it when their human is lying quietly in bed. And many cats seem to increase this behavior during moments when the person is emotionally exhausted, sad, or physically unwell. Specialists in feline-human interaction explain that cats are extremely observant animals. They constantly monitor changes in movement, energy, routine, tone of voice, and even smell. And humans produce different smells during emotional stress. Studies involving animals and human emotional chemistry observed that stress hormones can subtly alter human scent patterns. While cats do not understand sadness the way humans do, researchers believe many cats detect that something feels different long before people realize how emotionally affected they actually are. This may explain why certain cats suddenly become unusually affectionate during difficult emotional periods, not because they fully understand the problem, but because they sense a change inside the emotional atmosphere around the person they trust. And this is where the strong head-pressing behavior becomes fascinating. Experts explain that physical pressure itself may help cats regulate emotional comfort. Similar behaviors appear when cats need blankets, press against other cats they trust, or sleep tightly beside safe companions. Physical closeness can reduce tension and reinforce feelings of familiarity and emotional security. So, when your cat forcefully presses its head against you, it may not simply be marking scent. It may also be seeking emotional grounding. Some researchers even observed that highly bonded cats often combine this behavior with purring, slow blinking, or remaining physically close long after the contact ends. The cat does not rush away. It stays nearby because the emotional interaction itself seems calming. And strangely, many owners notice this behavior becoming stronger over the years. As routines stabilize and trust deepens, some cats become far more emotionally expressive through silent physical gestures. What begins as occasional rubbing slowly transforms into intense moments of connection that feel almost human. But there is another strange detail specialists noticed about cats that press their heads strongly against people. Many of them do something right before it happens. They stop. They stare silently, and for a few seconds, it almost feels as if they are studying your emotional state before deciding to approach. The strange reason your cat sometimes does it after staring at you, every cat owner has experienced this moment at least once. Your cat stops moving completely and stares at you in total silence. No blinking, no sound, just focused attention. For a few seconds, it almost feels uncomfortable, as if the cat is analyzing something invisible. Then, slowly, without warning, it walks toward you and presses its head against your body. Most people think the staring means nothing, but feline behavior specialists explain that this sequence is often emotionally significant. Researchers who study cat communication observed that cats rarely approach humans impulsively during emotionally meaningful interactions. Unlike highly reactive animals, cats tend to pause, observe, and evaluate before initiating physical contact. This is especially true when the interaction involves trust, vulnerability, or emotional bonding behaviors. In other words, your cat may actually be studying the emotional atmosphere before deciding whether it feels safe enough to connect with you. Cats are extremely sensitive to body language. Specialists explain that subtle human behaviors humans barely notice can completely change how a cat feels emotionally in that moment. Facial tension, breathing speed, voice tone, sudden movements, emotional agitation. Cats quietly absorb all of it. Studies involving feline-human interaction found that cats often behave differently depending on the emotional state of the person nearby. Calm humans tend to receive slower approaches, softer eye contact, and longer physical interactions. Tense or emotionally unpredictable behavior, on the other hand, can make cats remain cautious even if they deeply trust the person overall. This may explain why many cats choose quiet moments to initiate head rubbing, moments when your energy feels calmer, moments when your body slows down, moments when the environment becomes emotionally predictable. Researchers also noticed that staring itself plays an important role in feline communication. Cats observe before acting because observation helps them measure safety, intention, and emotional stability. Some specialists describe this as emotional scanning. The cat pauses to gather information before deciding what kind of interaction feels safe. And, strangely, many cats combine this stare with slow blinking shortly before approaching. Experts explain that slow blinking is frequently associated with relaxation and reduced defensive alertness. In nature, closing the eyes even partially around another being requires trust. So when your cat stares softly before walking toward you and rubbing its head against your body, several emotional signals may be happening simultaneously. The cat feels calm enough to lower vigilance, calm enough to approach, calm enough to connect physically. And there is another fascinating detail researchers observed. Cats often behave very differently when approaching humans for emotional connection versus approaching for food. Food-driven behavior tends to look faster, more direct, more impatient. Emotional approach behaviors, however, usually appear slower and quieter. The cat watches first, moves carefully, pauses often, then initiates gentle physical contact. This is why some head rubs feel strangely emotional, even though nothing dramatic is happening, because the cat is not reacting to survival. It is responding to emotional comfort. And once people begin noticing these silent patterns, they often realize something surprising. Their cat has been emotionally reading the room all along, watching moods, detecting tension, adjusting behavior around emotional energy in ways most humans completely overlook. But there is another side to this behavior that can feel deeply unsettling. Because when cats stop performing these silent rituals altogether, specialists say it sometimes reveals that something inside their emotional world has changed. Why some cats suddenly stop doing IT one day? Your cat constantly rubs its head against you. Every morning, every night, every quiet moment inside the house. Then suddenly the behavior becomes weaker, less frequent, colder, or sometimes it disappears completely. Most people assume the cat simply changed moods, but specialists in feline behavior explain that sudden changes in emotional bonding behaviors often happen for a reason, and cats rarely communicate discomfort in obvious ways. Researchers who study feline stress observed that cats are masters at hiding emotional imbalance. In nature, vulnerable animals that openly display weakness become easy targets. Because of this instinct, many cats suppress visible signs of stress for long periods. Instead of dramatic reactions, the first signals usually appear through subtle behavioral changes. And one of those changes can involve physical affection, especially head rubbing. Experts explain that when cats emotionally attach certain routines to feelings of comfort and safety, disruptions inside their environment can quietly affect those bonding rituals. Changes in the house, new people, different smells, loud noises, emotional tension between humans, lack of predictable routine. Even rearranged furniture can sometimes increase stress levels in sensitive cats. What makes this difficult for owners to notice is that cats often continue eating, sleeping, and acting mostly normal, while emotionally withdrawing little by little. Researchers observed that stressed cats frequently reduce voluntary social interaction before displaying more visible behavioral signs. In simple terms, the cat stops initiating emotional contact first. The silent head rub disappears. The slow approach disappears. The quiet moments beside you become shorter. And many humans completely miss these changes because they happen gradually. There is another reason this behavior sometimes fades that specialists find especially important: emotional insecurity. Cats build trust through consistency. Predictable routines create emotional stability for them. But when interactions become rough, chaotic, invasive, or emotionally confusing, some cats begin protecting themselves by reducing vulnerable behaviors. A cat that once approached calmly may suddenly hesitate if it learns that every emotional interaction leads to being grabbed, overstimulated, chased, or interrupted. Experts explain that many humans accidentally damage bonding moments without realizing it. The cat approaches softly, the human reacts intensely, the emotional rhythm breaks, and over time, the cat becomes more cautious. Researchers also noticed that tension between animals inside the house can affect this behavior dramatically. Cats living with conflict, competition, or territorial insecurity often reduce emotionally vulnerable behaviors because their nervous system remains more alert overall. Even subtle stress from another cat can quietly change how affectionate a cat feels safe being. And sometimes, the reason becomes even more emotional than people expect. Certain cats reduce head rubbing when their owners become emotionally distant themselves. Long absences, major routine changes, increased stress, depression, constant distraction. Specialists in feline-human interaction explain that cats adapt to emotional energy inside the environment more than most people realize. When emotional connection patterns change, some cats slowly adjust their own behavior too, not out of revenge, not out of spite, but out of emotional adaptation. Still, experts emphasize something important. A cat temporarily reducing this behavior does not automatically mean the emotional bond is gone. Many cats simply need emotional safety restored before vulnerable gestures begin returning naturally. Calm routines, gentle interactions, predictable affection, quiet environments, these things matter deeply to cats. And once emotional trust begins rebuilding, many cats slowly return to the silent rituals they once shared. But there is one mistake humans commonly make during these moments that can push a cat even further away without realizing it. And according to specialists, this mistake happens exactly when the cat is trying to emotionally connect. The biggest mistake humans make during this moment, one of the biggest mistakes cat owners make, happens during the exact moment their cat is trying to emotionally connect with them. And the strange part is that most people do it with good intentions. The cat approaches quietly, rubs its head against the person, and immediately the human reacts with overwhelming physical affection. Fast petting, tight grabbing, loud excitement, sudden movements. But specialists in feline behavior explain that this reaction often interrupts the emotional meaning behind the interaction itself. Because many cats are not approaching humans the way humans approach each other. Cats communicate through subtlety, through rhythm, through emotional control. Researchers who study feline social interaction observed that cats prefer interactions where they maintain a sense of choice and emotional safety. This means that when a cat initiates contact slowly and gently, sudden, overwhelming responses can create emotional discomfort even if the cat loves the person deeply. This is why some cats rub their heads against someone and then instantly walk away when touched too intensely. The emotional atmosphere changed too fast. Experts explain that many humans misunderstand feline affection because they interpret cat behavior through human emotional expectations. Humans often see affection as excitement, intensity, and constant physical engagement. Cats, however, frequently associate trust with calmness, predictability, and emotional softness. In the feline world, peaceful interaction often means more than exaggerated affection. Researchers noticed that emotionally secure cats usually approach trusted humans in very controlled ways. They pause often, they observe reactions, they initiate contact gradually. And when the human responds calmly, the cat's nervous system remains relaxed enough to continue the interaction naturally. But when the response becomes emotionally overwhelming, many cats instinctively pull back. This is why specialists recommend paying attention to the cat's rhythm instead of forcing human emotional expectations onto the moment. A soft voice, gentle eye contact, slow movement, allowing the cat to decide how long the interaction continues. These small details often strengthen trust far more than intense affection ever could. And there is another mistake many people make without realizing it. Ignoring the gesture completely. Researchers observed that cats often repeat behaviors that create emotionally positive outcomes. When a cat quietly approaches, rubs its head against someone, and receives calm/safe interaction in return, the behavior tends to become stronger over time. But when the cat repeatedly feels emotionally dismissed, interrupted, or misunderstood, some cats gradually reduce those vulnerable bonding attempts, not because they stopped caring, but because the emotional connection stopped feeling rewarding or safe. This is why experts in feline behavior explain that trust with cats is not built through dominance or control. It is built through emotional consistency, predictable calmness, respect for boundaries, quiet moments repeated over time. And strangely, the strongest bonds between cats and humans often look almost invisible to outsiders. A cat entering the room just to sit nearby, a slow blink across the room, a silent head rub before sleep, a calm presence during difficult moments. These are not random habits. They are emotional rituals. Researchers explain that cats often reserve these rituals for the humans they trust most deeply. Not the loudest humans, not the most forceful, but the ones who consistently make the cat feel emotionally safe. Because when a cat rubs its head against you, it may not simply be asking for attention. It may be offering one of the purest signs of trust. It knows how to give, and once you truly understand that, you stop seeing your cat as emotionally distant. You begin realizing your cat may have been silently loving you all along.